The second project that we're going to be doing with Jeroo is called the maze. So the maze has a pre-built island file. This one here is the first one. There's also a second island file, looks like this, and a third island file, which looks very similar to the second one, but something has changed. So the goal of this is that your Jeroo is going to start down here at 19.0. And the flower in this map is here, but for the assignment, you won't know where the flower is. So you got to make sure that you cover every single square of the entire maze. This actually becomes really tricky on the third one. So the way that you place a Jeroo in a particular spot, so the way that you create it, if you go into the instantiation, there's different ways to create Jeroos. In our case, we need to create him at 19,0. So we're going to need to use this Jeroo method here, only replacing this with 19 and 0. And obviously you can name your Jeroo whatever you want. So that's going to place him down here in this spot, and that exists on all three mazes. Now, let me give you a hint on one way to solve mazes. So if you have a maze where the beginning and where the entire maze is a loop, which this one and the second one are, you can actually follow the left wall or follow the right wall. Imagine that your Jeroo has his left hand or paw or whatever it is, left side of your arrow, touching the left wall all the way around, and you basically follow the entire thing that way. So the way that works is, while there is not a flower here, if there is no water to the right, or I'm sorry, left, if we're going to follow the left wall, then turn left and hop. You may notice that I'm putting this in comments and not actually showing you the code. That's on purpose. What I'm showing you here is called an algorithm. It's the step-by-step process to solve it. You're going to have to translate this algorithm into code if you want to use this one. Else if there is no water ahead, hop. Else if there is no water right, then turn right and hop. Let me make this consistent. Else turn around. And then if you get done with this while loop, then you just pick at the end. So after while loop, pick. So that's the general way of dealing with this. Now, you're going to have to figure out how the code works, where the braces go. Don't forget that you have a main method, all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be necessary for the first two maps if you're going to do that. Now, something a little tricky is this will not work for the third map. It's not a complete loop. So you're going to have to figure out a more clever way to deal with it, and that's actually substantially harder. Now, that's the maze, so that's the second project. The third project is called the relay. So if I go open that map, looks something like this. And what happens is your Jeroos, you have two Jeroos in this one. And so you need to create one down here and one over here. The basic thing is that the Jeroo over here on the left has to get all the way down here to the right side and have a flower when he's all done. That's the goal of it. If you want to get extra credit, this first Jeroo can never pick a flower. That's the basic idea of the whole thing. Your second Jeroo can do all sorts of interesting things. He can pick up flowers, for example. First one cannot start with flowers, which means that somehow these nets have to be disabled by the second one. And if you want to get the extra credit, you have to make sure that he never picks a flower. That should be it for the Jeroo projects. That'll give you a chance to try out different types of Jeroos, like having two Jeroos instead of just one. You can try out having different kinds of loops and if statements, and we've tried out all the different commands. So after this, we're going to go into the full version of Java.